Hi guys, today we are going to be playing with new eyeshadow palettes. Who is surprised? Literally nobody. But I got a wonderful package from Dede Signature the other day with two of her newest palettes, and this is a brand that I have had such a good experience with so far. I've liked everything that I've tried from Dede's, and I'm excited to be playing with more stuff. And especially, I think that these two things are some of the color stories that I'm the most excited about that she's ever come out with, and that's gonna probably shock a lot of you when I show you which palettes that we're talking about today. So the first one here is a new quad. This is the Pumpkin Spice Quad, and I am such a sucker for pumpkin. I love pumpkin everything except for pumpkin pie, which is kind of contradictory, but like pumpkin pie is just not that good, but pumpkin flavored things, I am off on a tangent. Anyway, this is a beautiful, beautiful quad. I think this is so pretty, and I think that it's very unique. Like, this color story I have never seen before, and for being a quad, I think she did such a good job at kind of capturing, like, I don't know, fall as well as pumpkin, like all in one, and I think that these shimmers in this are gonna be so pretty. I'm literally so excited. Like, I cannot wait to use this. And when I got my package, there was another surprise in that package, which I did not even know was going to be released, and it came with a note saying that please don't show this until I've shown it on my Instagram myself. And I was like, oh God, here we go. I love surprises. I love when I get something in the mail that I didn't even know was coming, and then to be like one of the first ones to see it. I was so excited. But then I saw the outside of the package, and it said it's called the Neutral Wonder Eyeshadow Palette. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I'm like, it's just gonna be another neutral palette, la 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 la. And then I open it and I was like, wait, this is the most beautiful neutral palette I have ever seen in my life. And you guys know I'm not really into neutrals, but there is a time and place for doing somewhat neutral looks, and I do enjoy, here's the thing, like, I don't like all neutral looks, but I love having like neutral mattes to go with like very special shimmers, and I basically feel like that is what you get in this palette. And I think that it's like a fun neutral palette without being, I don't even know how I'm trying to explain this, but I just find it to be very interesting and still very wearable for a lot of people. But even for someone like myself who's really into color, but I love special shades, and I just think that this is gonna look beautiful. Like, I think that any look you do with this palette, it's just gonna look really pretty. And I'm honestly excited to play with this, and I'm really happy to have it in my collection, even though I'm probably not gonna use it that much, like just on its own, but I'm definitely gonna be dipping into this palette to use along with other things, because that is how I like to use neutrals. Like I said, not really like an all neutral look kind of person, but I do like having very intense, deep, dark mattes to go with like some really cool shimmers, and I think that this is a wonderful palette. So these are both available. I do plan on posting this video the day that this palette goes live. This one is already live when I'm filming this, but these will both be available when this video is going up. I will leave the website link down below. I also do have an affiliated code with Dede. I think it's just Annette for 10% off. It'll be on the screen just in case. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and play with these. So I think my plan today is, originally I was like, maybe I'll do two looks. I'll do one with this and one with the neutral palette. But then I look at this color story and I'm like, that green and orange is not going to blend that well in together, just because of like how contrasting those tones are, and I really want to use like a lot of shades. So I think I'm going to pair this with a neutral palette, because I just feel like it's going to be a little bit easier to especially blend like these two colors in together if I kind of put like a brown in between. And I just think that this is going to be a perfect companion palette to this little quad here. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. I definitely want to use the shimmer, but I also want to use some shimmers in here. So we're just going to jam a lot of colors on my eyes. And if this is the quality from Dede's that I'm used to, I know I'm going to love it. So I'm not really too worried about like thoroughly reviewing like both of these, because I have so many things from Dede, and so far the quality has been very consistent across the board with all of their palettes. So yeah, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to like these, because like I said, I've liked everything else that I've tried in the past. So we're just gonna go in, we're just gonna have some fun, we're just gonna play with these palettes and see what kind of look I can come up with. And I'm sure no matter what it is, it's just gonna end up being really pretty, because the shimmers are just gonna be wonderful, and I know I'm gonna love them. And I'm just excited to play. So I'm just priming with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base as per usual. So I'm going to start with the quad here. I'm going to use the orange shade down in the corner. I don't think these have any names. It just says the pumpkin spice, and I really like that, because sometimes I don't like butchering names in palettes, and if the colors are so different that I can just point at them and be like, that orange, and you know which one it is, I like that. So this is going to be my transition shade, and then I'm going to deepen it up with one of the browns in the other palette, and probably use a little bit of the green, like sort of in my outer corner, maybe on my lower lash line or something like that, just to try out as many shades as possible. This is such a beautiful orange. I actually really like orange, but I feel like so many of the palettes that I've reviewed lately just haven't had any oranges in them, so I just haven't played with orange in what feels like forever, and it's such a nice kind of fall color as well. Not that it's fall anymore, but you know what I mean. I think that orange just looks really good on most people too. Goes on beautifully, blends out beautifully. Love that color, that's really nice. It's gonna go so nicely with the other palette as well. And I've never been this excited about a neutral palette before. I don't know what's gotten into me. I feel like I've been playing with neutrals a little bit more lately because I realized just how beautiful having a neutral crease can be along with like special shimmers, because it can really make the shimmers pop and just have them be in the spotlight instead of like competing with some super intense and bright mattes. Not that I don't love that, but it's just something that I've kind of been playing around with when I haven't been filming. And I've gotten so many compliments too, and people being like, wow, that shimmer shade is so pretty, which I usually don't have people like say that specifically if I'm wearing like an all colorful look, because then it's just like, oh my god, I love how colorful you are, you know, like it's just different. Like I feel like it really just like shows off the shift in shadows a little bit easier. Oh man, that is just going on the eye so nicely, just blends out beautifully. Do I want to take this under my eye as well, or do I want to use the green under my eye? That is actually not a bad plan, because that way maybe I'll be able to use more shades. So maybe what I'm gonna do, maybe this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into the neutral palette and I'm gonna grab, I'm thinking I want to use the shade called Plum and then maybe a little bit of this one as well. So I'm gonna take this one first, just because I feel like these are gonna look so nice together. And I'm just gonna start that in the outer corner of my eye and just blend it through my crease. This is also such a beautiful color, and that looks really nice together with that orange. I do want this to be quite an intense and dark look though, so I am gonna deepen this up a little bit more once I've gotten, I mean, that was so easy. I feel like I barely did anything with that shade and that just layered so beautifully. I am going to take it over that orange a little bit, so we are going to lose some of that orange, but that's okay. I just want to play with these and kind of just see what happens and try as many shades as possible. Now, normally I wouldn't go in with a third shade. I don't usually build 3 shades on top of each other, but we're going to see how the darkest shade perform after I'm done with this one, but I have high expectations that is going to perform very well. Like, see, this shade here is like an exciting shade I feel like to have in a neutral palette, because you can really go kind of plummy, which is like the color of the shade obviously, but I feel like that is a very good description of this shade, and like using this in the crease alone is going to make it quite a colorful look actually. I think this is so pretty. I'm trying not to take this too high up here, but I want to make sure it's nice and blended into the orange, and then I'm going to go back in with the orange and just bring that back a little bit, but I think this is looking really, really nice. I just want to make sure it's even on both eyes here. And then we're going to go ahead and deepen this up a little bit more. And I'm going to take the shade called Cacao, which is this one here. When I swatched this palette, some of these shimmers are the kind of formula that is, the kind of shimmer formula that I love right now. That's a little bit on the sheer side and they don't always swatch the best, but those kind of shimmers on top of a glitter primer is just chef's kiss. Like, they look so good. Or sprayed. I would highly, highly recommend with this kind of shimmer formula that you see me use so often that I just like, I gag over every single time that I use it. Use those kind of shimmers with something tacky or spray your brush, because they're sort of dry and flaky if you don't, and they're not gonna like spread out on the lid and look as good if you just use your finger or use them dry, at least in my opinion. So just want to put that out there, because I find that that step really is so important in the way that my eyeshadows turn out that I couldn't imagine like doing my makeup without it. And I wouldn't love these kind of shades as much if I didn't use it. So I just wanted to say that because I know a lot of you don't do that, but it just makes shimmer shadows so much better. Just try it. Like if you haven't, please just try it. So I'm just putting this in the outer corner of my eye here. I don't think I want to take this all the way through my crease, but I'm gonna layer it a little bit on my lid here because I think that the shimmer shades are just gonna be so pretty over. This is building so nicely. I really like Dede's formula. I think that everything that I have, like I said, just performs so well, and I always just have a really good time using her stuff. This is also such a beautiful deepening shade. It's like a cool tone, but sort of neutral, very, 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 very dark brown. And I love that because it's almost black, but without being black. And this is going to work to deepen up both cool tones and warm tones. And I think that looks really nice. I'm gonna take a little bit of this underneath my eye, just in the outer corners. And I think that is just going to work a little bit better, and that way I can also just connect the outer corner of my eye here. And then for the front portion, I'm gonna find, let's see, a smaller brush here. Let me use this to start with. And I'm gonna take the green from the Pumpkin Spice palette, which is quite dark, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna layer some shimmers probably over the top of this after I put this down anyway, because I think that is just gonna look really nice. But for now, I'm just gonna, wow, that is so dark and intense and pigmented. I'm just gonna smoke that out underneath my lower lash line, and it's gonna look a little bit crazy until the look is done, but just bear with me here. That is so pretty. I feel very festive in this look for some reason, and I think that when I get the shimmers on, it's gonna be even more so. But I love the tone of this color. It's just like a deep foresty green. I don't think I have a lot of greens like this in my collection, and I feel like this would be such a beautiful green to deepen up basically any other kind of green. I love this. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with the orange, if I can find the brush that I had the orange on, which I don't know where it is because it literally could be anywhere. Okay, it's in my cup. That makes sense why I put it there. Just gonna go back in with the orange and make sure I bring that back a little bit here because I do want this to be nice and orange, and it's also gonna make it a little bit less Christmassy probably, which is probably not what I should be going for right now since like almost at Christmas when I'm filming this. But yeah, this shade is so beautiful. And I'm also gonna take a little bit more of the second shade that I use, which is the plum shade, just to make sure that I get a nice blend between everything here. But so far this is just looking wonderful. Like, this is a neutral palette for people who don't love neutrals, that is for sure. I love this. Okay, we're gonna have so much fun with these shimmers. I think where I'm gonna start with some glitter primer, but let me just figure out what it is that I want to do first. So this shade here, I'm pretty sure is a multi-chrome, because when I swatched it, it has such a strong, it has a little bit of green in it and a little bit of bronze in it and a little bit of pink in it. It's such a beautiful shade. I'm probably going to use that on the outer portion of my lid and then do maybe the gold shade on the front portion. I think that's going to look really pretty. And then I'm going to do probably the green, or like the, yeah, like that bottom green on my lower lash line, and then maybe this one in my inner corner or something like that. So I'm gonna start with my glitter primer, just tapping this all over my lid where it is that I want my shimmers to go, not doing anything fancy, just putting this down as a sticky base. And I'm gonna start with the multi-chrome shade here. I just want to make sure I get enough of this on the outer portion of my eye so that this sticks nicely. This is a shade called Cranberry, so I'm going to take that on the sticky side of my brush here because it is just going to help it pick up very nicely. And you can probably see on my brush here, I'm not sure if you can see that, but it is kind of a flaky formula, which, like I said before, is going to work so much better if you do use some kind of a tacky eyeshadow primer to put it down on, or like a glitter glue or something like that. I wouldn't recommend using like a concealer or something with these kind of shades because it's not gonna adhere to it nice enough. But if you don't have a glitter primer, just spray your brush. It's going to make your life so much easier because they can also have a little bit of fallout, which again is just going to be prevented if you do have a sticky base on, but this is a beautiful color. This will make for such a nice smoky eye. Yeah, that's really pretty. I can see a pretty strong shift in that actually. That is stunning. That is really pretty. Okay, next up, we're gonna use, I think, the gold shade, which I love me a good gold. This is more of a metallic, I would say. It's not as flaky. It's very, very smooth. It picks up a lot better on a brush here. So I'm gonna put that in the middle of my eye. I'm gonna leave some room just in the front. That is so pretty. I just love a gold eyeshadow. Love a gold eyeshadow. Yep, that is, especially like a yellow base gold, it is my favorite. That, oh my god, I love this look. So I lied to you. I said I was going to use the green down here, but I think I'm gonna use this one. I just want to see. That's kind of like similar to what the one I have on the lid. So I'm actually gonna use this one because I just think that this is gonna be like everything. And I know if I had put this all over my lid, I would have been like, I love this shade. Like, I just know, like, this is the kind of shade that I just gasp when I see. So I'm gonna spray this a little bit because I do want this to be nice and intense. Again, a little bit of a flaky formula, which I love these kind of formulas. And I'm just gonna put that on the lower lash line. Oh my god. Yeah, that's beautiful. That is exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I love it. I love it. Just layering that over the dark green. See how beautifully those layer? Like, doesn't that look incredible? Am I going too heavy with this? Probably, but I literally don't care because I want to swim in this. Oh my god, I just cannot. Oh man, it's so pretty. Dede, can you please come out with a palette full of these kind of shades? Like this formula right here, all in one palette? I'm just saying, like I would die. I would die. I need someone to do that. Just a palette full of this formula. Like, I don't want anything else. I just want this. And I would probably abandon all the other shimmers I have in my collection because I would be so obsessed. Okay, I'm gonna do an inner corner shade before I start drooling over this because it's so pretty. I'm gonna take this shade here, which is called Peeled Taro. And this also looks to be a little bit of a flaky shade, but this one is, I would say, drier in a way. So there's definitely like a lot of different textures in here, but not in a bad way. It just means that they're gonna look different on the eyes. And that just makes it interesting. So I'm just gonna put that right in the inner corner of my eye here. That is also so pretty and so blinding. And it looks to have almost a little bit of a green shift, but I also think that that is because I paired it together with this green here. And it just sort of pulls whatever shade that you put it next to, because now on the top here is looking way more yellow. So this is the kind of shade that's just going to blend beautifully into any other shimmers that you're using on your eyes. I love this. I'm so happy I decided to pair these palettes together because they just work so nicely. Like, they make for such a good cohesive color story. And I just think that this is such a fun and kind of festive look at the same time. Like, I'm living for this. I think this is where I'm going to leave it with the shadows. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off. I don't know if I want to maybe do some lashes with this. That would look really pretty. Not sure, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish off and I'll come back and I will show you the look. Okay, so the look is done. I didn't do lashes because I just didn't feel like, I didn't want to ruin the look. Like, just in case, I'd like for this to look beautiful because it is so pretty and I didn't want to fuss with it. In my waterline, I just used some green. This is from House Labs. I don't know if I'd recommend these. I don't think they're that good, but it's kind of like the metallic green color that I was looking for. It's in the shade Empire. And then, let's see, is that it? If you're wondering about my blush today, I'm using the Menagerie Arthurine blush palette. I don't know. If you want to get this, you probably need to just sign up for their email notifications because they restock very regularly, but you need to be alert. Like you need to know when it restocks because it does sell up pretty fast. And I used a shade up here called Goji. They do sell these as singles now as well, and I don't know what is and what isn't available, but if you've been looking for sort of an orangey yellowy blush, this is beautiful. I love this. Like I need to wear it more often, but I also need to make sure that whatever I wear it with is going to go with the look. And I kind of knew that I'd be playing with some oranges and neutrals today, and I think that it just looks really, really nice. Let's see, my highlighter today is from Rephr. It is the Sugar Cookie Highlighter, which is one of the limited edition holiday highlighters for this year. I cannot get enough of this. Like, usually with Rephr's highlighters, I'm like, you know what, that's nice, but it is a little too icy for me, and I don't love the color, but like this color, I am so obsessed with, and it layers so nicely over any blushes that I have on that I just cannot stop using it. I think it's just so pretty. It's so beautiful. So that's basically it. My thoughts about these palettes, if you've been looking for a neutral palette, even if you haven't been looking for a neutral palette, you might need this. It's so beautiful. Who thought there would be a day where I would be like, I love this neutral palette. Like, what have I become? But honestly, this to me it's just really pretty, and it's a beautiful companion palette to other like colorful shimmers or colorful mattes. It's just gonna go so nicely, and I love the shimmers in this. I think that they are stunning. So many beautiful formulas. The mattes perform like a dream. No problems at all building on top of each other. It goes very, very dark, which I love, and this little quad is so beautiful. Even just for the shade here by itself, just look at it. Oh, it's so pretty. I love these shimmers. How many times can I say that? But like, seriously though. And the colors in this are just really, really nice. This would be such a good introduction to the brand. If you just want to try out her eyeshadow formula and see if you like it before you pick up anything else, this would be a really good place to start because you do get two beautiful mattes and two beautiful shimmers. And I think that if you get this and you like this, you can definitely go ahead and like just order everything on her site because it all seems to be the exact same quality. And so far, I love it. So that's going to be my thoughts. Like I said, these are available already. I will link everything down below if you want to go check it out. But yeah, I had so much fun playing with these. Thank you, Dede, for sending these my way. I love playing with everything that you want to send me. So yeah, this has just been so much fun. And I hope that you guys are enjoying Annettemas this year. Even if I'm not posting every day, I still post a lot. So if you're new to my channel and you want to see some more content, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.